I would have told you that this is exactly what was going to happen, because America is nothing if it can't protect the bottom line of capitalist corporations, and America is nothing if it can't offer cheap consumer goods to its base. Yeah, remember when I talked to you guys about the Chinese peasants comment and how that was going to cause so much commotion in China? Very few comments by U.S. officials in the past few years have radicalized the Chinese people against the U.S. as much as JD Vance's Chinese peasants. Why would he say this? It doesn't help with anything.
To Shenzhen by train.
Yeah, it quite literally is an invocation of century of humiliation shit. China at this stage has overcome exactly that. And the very fact, as soon as I heard him say they're peasants, as soon as I heard JD Vance say, call the Chinese peasants, I told you that this was going to extend, or at least, at the very least, it was going to cause the Chinese population to be significantly more angry towards JD Vance. It was also going to cause them to hold strong against American action.
China, and I'm going to Shenzhen by train, so I've forgotten my phone, and I want to get something from the store. So I'm at 7-Eleven. So I'm gonna pick up the sparkling water. And what's very interesting is they actually have. So I'm gonna scan it. They actually have WeChat Palm Pay. So that's my WeChat ID. That's my WeChat ID, and I just paid without having my cards or my wallet on me or my phone, which is pretty crazy, mind-blowing. You don't have to take anything with you when you go and travel. So that's the beauty of China. It just shows how ahead China is in terms of technology.
I've seen so many goddamn TikToks about Chinese people being like, I'm a peasant. F you. Yeah. There's hundreds of these videos going around. They're all very viral too. The Chinese won't let Xi take the foot off Trump's neck. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it does not matter. Xi is going to do what Xi's going to do. You know what I mean? And in terms of maintaining global stability, trade stability especially, which is something that benefits China as it stands and something that China wants to maintain, this is the reason why I say, after showing the world a lesson, showing the global leaders that are paying close attention to what's going on right now and the dangerous instability, he's going to turn around and offer, like I said, an olive branch to the Trump administration. The Trump administration will take that olive branch. Everyone who's actually smart will recognize exactly what took place. But of course, we are surrounded by incredible dumbasses. So all of those dumbasses will turn around and go, oh my God, he did it. He did it. He did it. Trump is the mad lad. He actually made China back down. Also, one of my favorite things is the people that like Donald Trump, but also like BRICS. A lot of these BRICS guys also are pro-Trump, weirdly enough. And I don't know how that happened. But these accounts posting these signs are popping up all over China. These Chinese peasants are killing me with their wicked sense of humor. Starting from today, our store will charge 104% service fee to American customers. If you have any questions, please consult the U.S. Embassy. After being brought up in a China-hating country, it's very hard to swallow. They're not the big evil guys. I mean, it doesn't matter. The world is not run by the people that have these opinions. The world is run by people who will still recognize when, the American government is the one who's causing the instability and the Chinese government is the one that's maintaining global stability. So it doesn't matter. Anyway. This kind of stuff is just this is a little bit reactionary. I already hate AI art, and this is not to be the friend who's too woke or whatever, but this kind of stuff is a little bit reactionary where they're just oh yeah, you fat Americans, good luck making these chips. Now, the reality of the matter is we can't make these chips. Okay. These are incredibly, the manufacturing process for this stuff is so insanely high tech. It is not something that you can put together overnight. You have to have you have to have a shit ton of training. Okay. I do think it's kind of funny because if Trump was able to achieve his desires and his wishes, Like, let's say America was able to build the industrial base necessary to become go from a consumption economy to a production economy, right? Let's say they were able to do that. You would literally have a situation similar to this. You would have these guys sitting on the factory floor making stuff for India and China. Like, could you imagine the role reversal? Like, that's not going to happen. It's so stupid. Anyway, we do not know how to make iPhones. We do not have the capacity to make iPhones. We just don't have the factories to make iPhones. We just don't know. We don't have anything. Like, it's just so stupid. If you want to understand, like, something that I've been talking about for the past couple of days, if you weren't watching me, you might be confused today. You might be going, Hasan, I'm an Asmongold head. I watch Asmongold every day. And he keeps telling me these are brilliant moves that the Trump administration is making. But I found myself briefly coming over to your broadcast for a moment. And you're saying a lot of interesting stuff here. And I'm a little confused, right? I'm a little confused as to what is going on. Why did Trump make exemptions for the phones and chips? On the one hand, Trump said tariffs are good. And I celebrated that because Asmongold celebrated that the tariffs are good. And America is going to be a rapidly growing industrial economy. That's what I was thinking of. And then he turned around and he said, okay, no more tariffs. We're doing a pause on tariffs. So I was a little confused then because then everybody started saying, art of the deal, art of the deal. Donald Trump did it again. But now he's caving without getting a single phone call from Xi Jinping on some of these tariffs that were supposed to happen for phones, computers, and chips. What the hell's going on, Hasan? Well, if you were watching me for the past couple of weeks or maybe the past year or so, I would have told you that this is exactly what was going to happen because America is nothing if it can't protect the bottom line of capitalist corporations, and America is nothing if it can't offer cheap consumer goods to its base. It's nothing. That is the only thing holding the social contract together. And Donald Trump, as I've said already, basically destroyed that. He tried to nuke it. But yeah, the treats must flow and the money must flow. And Donald Trump tried to fuck up the bag that way for both sides, and it's not going to work.
Let's today, take a look. With a 125% tariff on all U.S. goods sold in China. This comes after President Trump placed a 145% tariff on Chinese imports. And now we're learning of a possible reprieve on certain products. ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has the latest from Washington.
Hey, Ike, as the U.S.-China trade war heats up, the Trump administration is exempting smartphones, laptops, and other electronics from his...
So I want to understand the mindset of an Asmongoldian. You know what I mean? Asmongoldian, a fan of Asmongold. In this very moment, do you feel like Donald Trump still got the big... Is he still doing the thing? Is he still hitting the red button over and over again? What happened? How did he buckle? What is a guy who is only getting beamed right-wing commentary to his frontal lobe? What does that guy think at this moment? They're called Asmonglers, by the way. No way he calls the fans Asmongoldians. No, I do that. There's also another thing that people call his fans, but I don't want to say it because it's a little bit, it's ableist.
Reciprocal tariffs. That's according to a bulletin posted by U.S. Customs Border Protection late Friday night. Now, those exemptions also include solar cells, flat panel TV displays, flash drives, computer processors, memory chips, and semiconductor-based storage devices. So this is some relief for big tech companies like Apple, which relies on China to assemble the iPhone. UBS had estimated that the cost of the new iPhone 16 Pro Max could jump by $950 under the 145% tariffs that Trump has imposed on all goods from China. And right now, there appears to be no end in sight for the U.S.-China trade war. China has imposed 125% tariffs on American goods, and those steep tariffs go into effect today. The White House has said that there currently are no negotiations happening between the U.S. and China. Now, this trade war is painful for both countries. Last year, the U.S. imported $440 billion worth of goods from China, everything from toys, clothes to...
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Lutnick 5 days ago said smartphone manufacturing was coming to the U.S. because of tariffs. Brendan, you've said that robots are going to fill those jobs. Lutnick's is automated factories. The armies of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones. That kind of thing is going to come to America. It's going to be automated. U.S. publishes tariff exclusions for specified products. U.S. tariff exclusions apply to computers, smartphones. U.S. tariff exclusions also apply to chip-making equipment. Tariff exclusions apply to so-called reciprocal tariffs. Trump exempts phones, computers, chips from reciprocal tariffs. What happened? What did I tell you? As soon as Donald Trump said this, what did I say when I was reacting to it live? I was like, oh, he's just going to start doing, he's going to do tariff exclusions to companies that come in and kiss the ring. And he's going to do it for basically all of the shit that we get from China anyway. Okay. As soon as he said, yep, I'm looking at exemptions, I was like, yep, of course he is. He's going to fold like a goddamn picnic chair. Okay. Of course. Now, the irony here is that the only thing that's not excluded from these tariff exemptions is gaming consoles. So for all those gamers out there, you're cooked. Unless you're PC master race, in which case, like, you'll probably still be hit by these tariffs to a certain degree. But, you know, art of the deal, baby. You're still cooked. If you want a PlayStation or a Switch or whatever, you're still getting shellacked. But if China doesn't make exemptions to agriculture, won't that break the backs of farmers? Yeah, of course. China already rerouted soy from Brazil instead. They immediately were like, okay, we'll go to Brazil for soy then. Good luck. Have fun. So now, because Donald Trump decided to nuke global trade because he was bored, the only thing that's happening in the process is they're going to have to heavily subsidize the farmers even further in an effort to weather the storm. Okay, that's number one. Number two, China has already moved in the direction of rerouting some of their trade. They're making deals with the European market. China never even needed American soy. They were only buying American soy because of the deal they made with the U.S. in the first trade war. I know that. I know. Also, for this exclusion, they're making it go into effect from imports since April 5th. So if tech companies already paid for the duties, they'll have to be refunded. Oh, don't worry. They haven't paid for the duties. You want to know why? Because the tariff collection system mysteriously broke. So they haven't even collected any of the tariffs anyway. That's right. So they couldn't even collect the tariffs. We covered this yesterday. Anyway, good news for U.S. consumers that President Trump has now exempted imports of smartphones, computers, hard drives, computer processor, memory chips from reciprocal tariffs, so they don't face a 10% global tariff or the extra 125% on China. It's also a win for Apple and Nvidia, etc. But you have to wonder, why didn't this exemption exist on April 2nd? Did the Trump team truly not know how reliant the U.S. is on China for popular electronics? U.S. depended on China for smartphones and game consoles. Top 10 U.S. imports from China by value in 2024. 86% of game consoles, 79% of PC monitors, 76% of toys, 73% of smartphones, 70% of lithium-ion batteries, 66% of laptops, 38% of plastic products, 14% of wireless headphones, 9% of computer parts, and 7% of medicine. Incredible stuff. Brilliant move, sir. They refunded it too. If they'd have collected any, it's retroactive. Yeah. So why did we do any of this? And does this spell confidence for the market watchers? Because it's still, they're just chipping away slowly but surely. This is turning into Trump 1 real quick. Okay. Trump 2 was supposed to be different. This man was on a mission. He was vindictive. He was going to punish everyone that told him no. Okay. He was going to tell all the money guys, F you, I'm doing my thing. Okay. For no reason whatsoever. Okay. For no seeming, no real reason at all. Okay. But it turns out he is still listening to the money guys. They're still telling him, like, you can't do that, sir. And he's backing away like a baby. So what happened? Here's Charles Gasparino breaking. It's a classic news management for Trump and co. to announce a so-called Apple carve-out, no tariffs on electronics, late Friday when the news of the week is done. But make no mistake, this is another sign of a tactical retreat from the White House's initial tariff strategy, which nearly led to a 2008-style market meltdown. I hate using the term layman moment, which gets thrown around so much it's cliched and not very descriptive. Layman in the banking collapse involved private sector folly of irrational exuberance involving housing. This moment was created by massive amounts of debt, our dependence on foreigners, even adversaries to keep buying it, and the government doing a U-turn on global trading relationships, which needed fixing, not destroying. Like, the system has been going on this way, and America being the global reserve currency maintains the system's stability. Donald Trump weirdly wanted to get everyone involved and everyone to pay penance, while simultaneously they already are paying penance structurally by being. So is he doing all this tariff so that 1% can pump and dump and get rich fast? No, I don't. The 1% is going to pump and dump and get rich fast no matter what he does.